Is everything over now when it comes to the hashtag shutdown Canada activism that we saw across this country? I mean, the rail blockades that we saw, they are over. The intersections being shut down by eco-extremist activists, they have come to a close. Extinction Rebellion individuals, they tried to kidnap BC Premier John Horgan just once, so there you go, good news. It only happened once. They haven't tried to do it again. Is all well? Well, the federal government kind of wants to tell us all is well after they met with Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs on their own turf, and they came up with an agreement. Pardon me, an arrangement. That was the term, an arrangement. Words matter here. It wasn't a deal, it wasn't a contract, it wasn't an agreement, it was an arrangement. And what are the details of that arrangement? We still do not know. We are still out in the cold. And I guess that's problematic because we're told that this arrangement was about sort of acknowledging the hereditary chiefs in more formal talks. Is that the direction we should be heading in? Are we giving them more leverage over so much of Canada's business? What's going on here? And we're told that the Coastal GasLink project will be resuming construction soon, or has already to some degree. Okay, great, but we know these particular hereditary chiefs are still against it. We also know that the eco-extremists are still ideologically opposed to it. This had nothing to do with what First Nations communities were saying. This was just a prop they were using to sort of support their endeavors, a justification. But hold on a second, there's another factor to all of this that still is not being addressed. Really interesting news story from a local news outlet in BC Interior. Here's the headline: Wet'suwet'en elected council wants in on pipeline and BC land talks. The deal with Ottawa leaves the councils out of the cold, hereditary chiefs are told. Sorry, what? Hold on a second, let's read this a bit more. The elected chief and councillors of the Wet'suwet'en First Nation are asking to be included in discussions about the closed-door talks with the federal government and provincial governments that result in that proposed settlement with hereditary chiefs. Whoa, okay, I really got to think about this again. So elected chiefs and elected councillors are saying that they are not privy to this and they are asking for their voices to be heard? Is this really what's going on here? That we have had these elected chiefs and councillors, and we know, we've established this fact for a while now, that something like 80% of the people in Wet'suwet'en are in support of this. And we wonder, why were this minority of hereditary chiefs, why were they allowed to bring Canada to a halt, to bring this project to a halt? So that in itself is bad enough as it is. But now we learn that actually the elected representatives have full-on been shut out of this entire talk, that Carolyn Bennett went there, only talked to the hereditary chiefs, brokered something with them that also concerned the elected people, and they are saying, what's going on? We haven't been told about it, and the government isn't talking to us. What on earth has happened here? When the Prime Minister says that he'd like to strike a balance with eco whatever and development, and then you've got more and more First Nations saying they want development. And yet here it is, the Prime Minister's representative, Carolyn Bennett, meeting with these people who are not elected. They are like the worst of the Senate and the worst of the monarchy combined in terms of not being answerable to the people. And they are the ones who are sort of rewriting the rules of the game, and the elected representatives are forced to say, excuse me, please, can we actually be a part of this? This is really wild stuff. Because I think we had a great opportunity here of late during this whole process to sit down and really talk about what are the hereditary chiefs, what is this whole system here, and could we perhaps wind it down? Could we perhaps work with First Nations to actually draw the hereditary chief system to a close somehow, to segue out of it? Because it certainly looks like something that's not appropriate for the year 2020 in terms of how we're used to democracy and politics being done in modern society in this part of the world. But no, the federal government is not doing that at all. I mean, we hear that families need stability, business needs stability, communities need stability, and let's be perfectly honest here, the hereditary chief system does not bring stability. It brings disruption. It allows one or two or three individuals off on the side, a rump of voters, to step forward and say, we're halting this, and they get their wish. That is not how we understand functioning, stable governance to proceed. And yet, it seems the Liberal government has given them greater leverage.